feel most welcome. And the other bit that was given is introduction, which I'll do fairly fast. The Kcse directors and staff present, please wave to this meeting. Kcse directors and staff present, wherever you are, asanteni sana. The MOE directors and staff, please wave to this meeting. Karibuni. The principals who are around, feel most welcome. Please wave to this gathering. Yes. The council members, we are the ones to wave to our council members. At the next staff here, the Kenya National Examination Council team, asanteni sana. I want you to feel most welcome. And at this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my humble duty and pleasure to invite our CEO, the Kenya National Examinations Council, Dr. Mercy Karogo. Please welcome.
Thank you. The Cabinet Secretary, Professor George Magoha, the Chair of Parliamentary Education Committee and other committee members present, Chief Administrative Secretaries, Dr. Sarah Luto, Madam Umina Bonaya and Mr. Hassan Noor, the Principal Secretaries present, Dr. Julius Juan, Dr. Margaret Mwakima, Ambassador Simon Nabukwesi, and Mr. Alfred Nocheriot, the Chairman of the Council, and other council members present, the CEO Kcse, Dr. Nancy Masharia, the Director of Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, Professor Charles Ongondo, the Director General State Department of Education, Mr. Elias Abdi, directors from Teacher Service Commission, directors from our ministry, representatives, the principals, and all the other representatives of people here from the other unions. We have the Private Schools Association and the unions present, the media fraternity covering this function, and those others who have supported us, my colleagues from the Kenya National Examination Council, all esteemed invited guests, good afternoon. Allow me to start by welcoming each one of you to Kenya National Examination Council, and thank you most sincerely for honoring our invitation. Indeed, each one of you has been part of the journey that culminates with the release of the Kcse 2020 examination results today. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know that the Kenya National Examination Council started off their 2020 Kcse examination cycle with set goals and timelines. But the advent of COVID-19 pandemic in March 2020 necessitated a lot of changes, including the scheduling of the examinations calendar. We therefore take time this morning to thank our Almighty God that with all the uncertainties of the season, the Kcse examination cycle for 2020 is finally complete. After resumption of physical learning, Kenya National Examination Council immediately embarked on completion of assessment of Kcse examination papers, which have a school-based project component for art and design, agriculture, woodwork, metalwork, building construction, and computer studies. The assessment of school-based exams were completed successfully in January 2021. The oral and the Aulo and home science practicals were administered thereafter between 8th and 19th March 2021, followed by the administration of the theory papers from 26 March to 21st April 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, the success of field administration and the conduct of 2020 Kcse examinations at school level was supported by a dedicated team of 10,943 supervisors, 42,574 invigilators, 2,634 drivers, 23,226 security officers, 10,000 438 center managers, among other members of the school community who support the candidates on a day-to-day basis while the examination was in progress. Ladies and gentlemen, the management, distribution and the security of examination materials while in the field was coordinated by a team of dedicated field officers at county and sub-county level. This included county commissioners, assistant county commissioners, and their security teams, ministers of education regional directors, county directors, sub-county directors of education, and a team of other education officials, Kcse regional officers, county and sub-county directors in the Teacher Service Commission. This interagency team worked tirelessly to ensure success of the process for over 5 weeks. Please accept our gratitude for this sacrifice. The marking of 2020 Kcse examination candidate answer scripts was successfully undertaken by a dedicated team of 25,135 examiners. Thereafter, a competent team of NEC officers processed the examination results for the candidates, culminating to the release of the same today. Ladies and gentlemen, I also wish to recognize the 747,161 candidates who registered and sat the 2020 Kcse examinations in 10,567 examination centers countrywide. These candidates registered for 31 subjects, which were tested in 77 papers. NEC on the spot ensured that all candidates, including those with special needs and disabilities, as well as those who took examination under other special circumstances, were accorded appropriate opportunity to ensure fairness and equity. We commend these youth for braving a unique period in our history and their compliance to Ministry of Health protocols to warrant prevention of spread of COVID-19. As I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I like to thank all stakeholders and the members of the public who supported Kenya National Examination Council in various capacities and the means during the long journey. I wish to reiterate the commitment of Kenya National Examination Council towards the realization of education goals of the country, the Kenya Vision 2030, and other global development goals which we have attested to. With those remarks, I wish to end my remarks, and I wish to pray to the Almighty God to bless each one of you corporately, because we are representing institutions and your families in a mighty way. And with those remarks, I will take this opportunity to invite the chair of the council, and may also request him to introduce the council members present. Thank you.
The Cabinet Secretary for Education, Professor George Magoha, the Chairperson of the Parliamentary Committee on Education, the Chief Administration Secretary is present, Principal Secretary is present, Council members, NEC Council members, the TSC CEO, Director KICD, Director General, Ministry of Education, Directors present, union representatives present, the media fraternity, staff of the Kenya National Examinations Council, all distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Before I proceed further with my remarks, allow me to introduce members of the Governing Council of NEC. Dr. Julius Juan, thank you. Dr. Nancy Macharia, Professor Charles Songondo, Rosemary Saina, Mr. Festus Kingori, it's not there, Colonel Retired Leonard Owambo, Martin Okio, Dr. Mary Gaturu, Dr. Fred Spotter, Dr. Mercy Karogo, and Mr. Peter Rutere. On behalf of the NEC Council, I welcome you for the release of the 2020 Kcse examination results. I also recognize the presence of all of you and extend our gratitude to you for gracing the occasion. This marks the end of the 32nd cycle of the Kcse examination since its inception in 1989. Indeed, for us as a council, this is a landmark in service. Having been tasked with the spearheading assessment and examination of the Kenyan child in the midst of unprecedented global pandemic that has affected many sectors and operations, including education. As you are aware, the effects of the pandemic affected nearly all education assessment boards worldwide, without exception. In some cases, examination processes were disrupted midstream, and some are yet to resume full operations to date. We therefore consider it a great milestone for the Kenya National Examinations Council to have successfully completed the 2020 national examinations. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate the pivotal role of Professor George Magoha, the Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Education, in this process, for remaining steadfast in his commitment to the completion of the examination cycle. Through his stewardship, the Kenya National Examination Council received the required support from all the relevant arms of the government, thus providing an enabling environment for the conduct of the 2020 KCPE and the Kcse examinations. I wish to assure you all that the Council put in place all measures possible to ensure that the Kcse examination results and certification of the 2020 candidates maintained the global repute that the Kenyan education has gained over the recent years. The Council therefore worked tirelessly to ensure professionalism and integrity throughout the process. In this process, the NEC staff worked diligently around the clock to ensure the prompt availability of all examination requirements. As was the case with many examination boards, field administration of the examination in COVID-19 times was not without unprecedented unique challenges, but the Council navigated successfully. Ladies and gentlemen, this would have not been possible without the support of all of you as responsible stakeholders and process owners. These include the larger Ministry of Education, starting with the Cabinet Secretary, the Ministry of Interior and the Coordination of National Government, the Ministry of ICT, semi-autonomous government agencies, associations, unions, and other institutions and individuals who supported NEC throughout the examination cycle. Special recognition goes to the 2020 Kcse examination candidates, their parents, and patriotic members of the public who supported the process by refusing to tolerate examination malpractice by reporting all cases of attempted vice. We as a council wish to urge all law-abiding citizens to fight against all attempts to cheat in examinations, because this not only affects the moral of our future generations, but also growth and development of the country. As I conclude my remarks, I wish to mention that NEC is still on course in rolling out the competency-based assessment in support of the competency-based curriculum at basic education, and envisages to roll out the same at tertiary levels at the appropriate time. With those remarks, I take this opportunity to wish all the 2020 Kcse examination candidates success in their next phase of life, and urge them not to focus more on the grades attained in the examination, but instead focus on the selection of the appropriate pathways that steer them towards their future career growth and development. Thank you. At this point, I would like to hand over to the PS, Dr. Julius Joan, to continue with the program. Dr. Joan, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our Cabinet Secretary. Thank you, Chair NEC. All protocols observed because of time, ladies and gentlemen. Mine is going to be very brief. The first one is basically to introduce the senior colleagues who are here, starting with the Chief Administrative Secretaries. We have three of them. Dr. Sarah Ruto, just you can wave. We have Mr. Noor and Madam Mumina. Then we have my colleagues, the PSS. We have Ambassador Nabukwesi, Mr. Cheriot, and Dr. Mokima. Thank you. Allow me also to acknowledge the presence of our colleagues from the Private Schools Association. I saw Mr. Ndora around. Please wave. Oh, thank you. We have colleagues from international schools. I think I saw you together. We have CEOs around here. Some of them have already been mentioned as board members. But allow me to mention Madam Dr. Wahome. Well, Dr. Wahome is the CEO KUPS, that is the Kenya Universities and Colleges Central Placement Services. Very critical, because the results that are being announced here, the next step for the learners is for them to be selected to the various institutions in the country. That is important because once you get your selection through KUPS, then you can be sure of getting government capitation as well as being able to apply to the Higher Education Loans Board funds. We have the Chair of Parents Association, Mr. Mayu. I saw you around. Thank you. We have the principals of some of our schools. I think they are sitting behind there. Please just wave to the team. Thank you very much. We have many directors from the ministry, directors from TSE, directors from NEC. Please, you can wave. We have colleagues from KUPET and NAT. Because of time, I saw Honorable Mboko Milemba and Honorable Sosion. Ladies and gentlemen, at this stage, allow me very briefly to invite the Chair of the Education Committee in Parliament to just say a word, and then we move on because of time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. CS Magoha, your entire team, in the education fraternity, and all members present. Good afternoon. Let me start by thanking God for life and health. There are so many things happening in this world, but by the grace of God, we are alive and healthy. First, I want to congratulate the teachers and the parents and all the stakeholders for their resilience and hard work during a very difficult time. Despite all this, they have been able to excel. The release of the release of today's results mark another milestone in the education sector, which is continuously improving to accommodate all learners and provide fair opportunities for onward transition to institutes of higher learning. We must commend the ministry under the leadership of CS Magoha for real-time release of results. This ensures parents plan on time and end a lot of anxiety for our children. Well done, Bwana CS and your entire team. I want to take this opportunity to thank also His Excellency, the President, and the National Assembly Committee on Education and Research, and the House as a whole, for the recent appointment and approval of one Professor Fatuma Chege, PS, Curriculum Reforms and Implementation. This is a very key department because Kenya now is embracing the new education system, CBC. This system is long overdue because it will bring the best in our children by developing their skills and knowledge, and application of the same will ensure our children become better communicators, critical thinkers, among many other things. So Kenyans should now be fully ready to embrace the new education system. TSC, which is also represented here by Madam Nancy, is a very key player. We are going to ensure that they get the necessary support so that they can be able to roll out and train the teachers about the new curriculum. The Education Committee will always support the ministry to develop the right policies, support them through the budget, but also oversight and ensure that every cent is utilized very well. My appeal to leaders, to parents, and all stakeholders is to ensure that our candidates get to the next phase of their education so that they can be able to move on very well in that area. I don't want to say a lot, but I must thank the ministry for what it has done, because now we are able to plan as parents and move ahead. Today I'm accompanied by two very key members of my committee, Honorable Omboko Milemba and Honorable Sosion. I'm sure they're also wearing the hat of the unions that they represent. Honorable Sosion represents NAT and Honorable Omboko Milemba represents KUPPET. And we all know the key role that unions play in this country. Thank you very much, and I'm very honored to be here today when you're releasing the results. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa. Before I invite the CEO TSC to make her remarks, I want to mention three things. One is to pay homage to the teachers of this country who gallantly and proudly went to schools when everybody was not sure that we would move on. They did their bit, and what we are doing today is as a result of their great work. Most critically is the fact that we have opened school today, and from what we observed during the COVID pandemic, which is still going on, we realize that our children are safer in school. We realize the critical role that teachers play. Indeed, when His Excellency the President announced that the schools will be opened as scheduled, everybody breathed a sigh of relief. And that shows that our teachers play a critical role in not only the cognitive development of our learners, but in the psychosocial support. We call upon them that as our learners report to school today, they continue with a similar engagement. Allow me to thank the multi-agency team, led here by Commissioner Opicho. I hope you are around. This team has been great to us. During the examinations, we kept updating one another almost on a day-to-day basis, on a 24-hour basis, and we don't take it for granted. And we keep pleading with them that as learners report to school today, the continued support from the multi-agency continues so that we ensure our learners are safe. Finally, I want to call on our field officers to ensure that as schools open today, the health and medical protocols are followed to the letter as we did in the previous terms, so that schools remain safe. I saw a cartoon in the papers today that indicated learners learning under a tree and the rain falling on them. I want to assure the country that in primary schools this term, the grade 4 pupils are still away, which means in many schools we have some extra space where we can keep social distance while learning. The same applies to secondary schools where we don't have Form 4 students for this term, and therefore again they have some space where learners can sit safely, keeping social distance. I also want to plead with the entire country to provide safe passage for learners as they travel to school. In some areas it's raining very heavily. Let us provide safe passage to those who are traveling school to be boarders, those who are day scholars, whether we are matatu conductors, we are border riders. Everybody needs to provide passage and support to the learners. At this stage, allow me to invite the Kcse to make her remarks, and then we move on to the release of the results by the Cabinet Secretary. Karibu sana, Madam Nancy.
The CS, Professor Magoha, all the CSs present, the PSs, Honorable Florence Mutua, and your colleague members of the Education Committee, Honorable Sosion, Honorable Milemba, NEC Chair, and the Council, and the CEO, Director KICD, senior officers from TSC and the Ministry of Education, principals of secondary schools present, representatives of unions present, members of the Fourth Estate, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by saying that I'm extremely pleased to see us gathered here today to celebrate yet another successful delivery of the Kcse examination. Given the most difficult circumstances under which this examination was delivered, I wish to thank all teachers who are involved in administering and marking this important exam. As a commission, we honor and celebrate our wonderful teachers for a job well done. Enjoy the accolades, our teachers, because you certainly earned them. And let's clap for our teachers. However, even as we throw accolades their way, I wish to empathize with the 7 teachers who are involved in a road accident near Webuye on their way home from marking the Kcse exams. We wish them quick recovery, and we shall be praying for them. The TSC is impressed with the high rate of COVID vaccine uptake among teachers. As of yesterday, that is Sunday, the 8th, we had 494 teachers vaccinated, constituting 48.9 female and 51% male. It is satisfying to note that majority of the teachers aged 58 years and above have taken the jab from the data we have received from the Ministry of Health. The impressive number has been achieved despite the fact that most teachers have been on the move, either during the administration of the examinations or during the marking exercise. Having concluded the examination period, I beseech all teachers to take up the jab. And as we announced when we were releasing the KCPE, His Excellency the President granted all teachers an opportunity to get the vaccination regardless of age. Please, teachers, let's utilize this gracious opportunity to protect our lives. It is sad to note that so far we have lost 37 secondary school teachers, including 24 principals, 3 deputy principals, and 10 classroom teachers. We do not want to continue losing our teachers. They are very dear to us. So please, whenever you can, we still encourage you to take the jab. As a commission, we continue to do everything possible to ensure teachers lead healthy lives. So far, we have provided full medical insurance cover for COVID-19 related ailments. Further, through our provider, Minet Kenya, we have now created a medical insurance app for our teachers called Walimu Care app that allows teachers to access telemedicine anytime, even from isolation centers or their homes. And what we are telling teachers is that because we know that we are avoiding hospitals sometimes when we can, please use this telemedicine app so that even from isolation or even at school, if the ailment is not so great, then you get in touch with our medical provider, you talk to the doctors, and you can even get prescription from there and further advice from the doctors. The app also ensures access to COVID-19 health tips. You can track your hospital visits, order for medication, and manage your dependents. The list is long among other services, and our teachers are encouraged to use that app. I also wish to announce that the Ministry of Health has accepted our request to open up a vaccination center at Kcse headquarters, where teachers who visit our offices can receive the jab. So this center is in addition to the 622 vaccine centers available to teachers in various medical facilities. And again, we are doing everything to ensure that our teachers get the jab as easily as possible and to access that vaccine and still go back to class in time. So as schools open for that term, we shall have less learners in school as grade 4, class 8 and Form 1 will be on their long vacation. I urge teachers to take this opportunity to prepare the 2021 candidates well and also take time to get vaccinated. Remember that we are releasing the 2020 examinations, and 2021 examinations are just coming. And therefore, colleague teachers, let us take this time to prepare these candidates so that they can perform well. During the administration of this exam, a number of cases were reported to NEC, alleging that some teachers contracted either as center managers, supervisors, or invigilators were involved in an unethical behavior of opening examination papers as soon as they were released from the containers. Such teachers, it was reported, would screenshot examination questions using their cell phones before disseminating them either to candidates directly or to people hired to answer the questions on behalf of the candidates. We are very disappointed by these reports, especially when they involve professional teachers. Teaching is a noble profession, and we should uphold the ethics of this profession. In one case, it was alleged that a school principal screenshot questions, disseminated, and even went ahead to post them on her WhatsApp profile. Really unthinkable that one can even put these things on the profile. In yet another case, a senior teacher's cell phone containing screenshots of questions of a paper was recovered as the cell phone was being transported to a candidate who was sitting the examination at a hospital. We have also been notified by NEC of a teacher who posed as an examiner and accessed an examination center. He has since been found guilty by court and jailed. And while he is not an employee of the commission, he is a registered teacher. We have therefore put in place mechanisms to subject him to a disciplinary process with an intention of removing him from the register of teachers. And as a commission, we shall wait for NEC to give us any other evidence that they may have in regard to unprofessional behavior on the part of our teachers, which is actually very regrettable. These three cases that I've just mentioned are just a tip of the iceberg, since we have received a number of unbelievable claims of attempted pre-exposure of examination questions over the last couple of years, some involving experienced and respected teachers. We do not support any form of unethical conduct arising from any teacher, was regarding examination malpractices. We shall therefore act decisively and conclusively on errant teachers while upholding the rules of natural justice and the principle of due process as stipulated in the Code of Regulations for Teachers. In doing so, however, we must be extremely cautious to avoid punishing framed-up teachers who could otherwise be sacrificial lambs of the true examination crooks. For instance, we must interrogate allegations of how a teacher can deliberately post smuggled-up questions on her own WhatsApp page, the consequences notwithstanding. Could there, for instance, be a cartel of examination thieves that access cell phones of innocent examination officials once these phones are surrendered to a common point at the examination centers, then using the gadgets to photograph examination papers before attempting to route them to their intended targets? This inexplicable scenario has forced the Kcse back to the drawing board to devise ways of accurately identifying the examination crooks beyond reasonable doubt. After initial consultations within and outside of the Commission, we have resolved to devise a waterproof system that will help us to accurately detect, identify, and apprehend perpetrators of examinations fraud while protecting innocent teachers whose gadgets may be misused. We think this will be possible if investigators can examine and conduct a forensic analysis of fingerprints of the people who tamper with examination materials right from when they are released from the containers. To this end, we have resolved to launch a transparent process of biometric enrollment and validation of teachers in all public schools. This will entail enlisting their fingerprints, which can then allow for forensic and intelligence-led investigations in cases where examination papers are tampered with and where cell phones and other gadgets are used to commit examination malpractices. The use of biometric validation will assist in vindicating innocent teachers from being blamed for offenses they did not commit. We are at the tail end of finalizing our consultations with the Office of the Data Commissioner on the rollout of the biometric capture of all teachers. In future, all teachers joining the Kcse will undergo the biometric enrollment before they enter our payroll. And this is doing what every other organization is doing. When you go to the bank, you just use your fingerprint and everything, because we do not want our teachers to be accused of what they have not committed, but we will punish those ones who also are involved in the malpractices. In conclusion, I want to say that, as always, the Kcse will reward those teachers that NEC will give names who have performed exemplary well and improved in their performance, and we shall recognize them. But let me conclude by my remarks now by thanking the multi-agency team that is behind the success that we are celebrating today. I can't forget our foot soldiers in the process, field officers of the Ministry of Education, Kcse, and the security personnel under the Ministry of Interior. I wish to congratulate all the 2020 Kcse candidates and wish them well in their endeavors. God bless Kenya.
Thank you very much, Madam Nancy. Ladies and gentlemen, I think this is the hour we have been waiting for. It is therefore my humble privilege to invite the CS Minister and release the 2020 Kcse exam results. Karibu sana Waziri.
Chief Administrative Secretaries Dr. Sarah Ruto, Mumina Bonaya, and Hassan Nur Hassan, Principal Secretaries Dr. Julius Juan, Margaret Mwakima, Alfred Cheriot, and Ambassador Simon Nabukwesi, Teachers Service Commission CEO Dr. Nancy Njeri Macharia, Dr. Florence Mutua, Chair of the Education Committee of Parliament, accompanied by Honorable Winsol Sosion and Honorable Mboko Milemba, Dr. Onsati, Chair of NEC, Mercy Karogo, Acting CEO of NEC Council members, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am indeed excited this afternoon to welcome you all to this event celebrating the results of 747,121 candidates who sat for the 2020 Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education Examinations. Just 3 weeks since we gathered here to release the results of the primary school exam on the 15th of April. Ladies and gentlemen, after looking at the impressive results that have been posted by our 2020 candidates and taking into account the most trying environment in which they prepared for this examination, I am compelled to describe this show in one apt sentence. Their battle was fought with resilience and ended with grace. Indeed, these candidates navigated one challenge after another that has now left us, all of us, with mirthful faces. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our God to thank for all these blessings of success and wonderful children who have defied the COVID-19 pandemic to shine in their examinations. We also have God to thank for giving us a wonderful and wise His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta, who has invested a lot in the education sector and has given us all the support, both politically and professionally, through his leadership. The President's guidance over the past 1 year, as we sought to reorganize the academic calendar to ensure that candidates sat the national examinations on time, was not only first class, but most appreciated and cannot be taken for granted, because we had so many experts from all parts of Kenya who knew better. But His Excellency the President was bold enough to open the schools, and today we are celebrating these results. I cannot forget my cabinet colleagues, Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i, in charge of the Ministry of Interior and Coordination of National Government, and Joe Mucheru, in charge of ICT, Youth Innovation and Youth Affairs. The three of us have effectively coordinated a multi-agency examination monitoring team that has, over the last 5 years, run a credible examination system which is result-based. I also wish to thank all school teachers, led by the Commission CEO, Dr. Nancy Njeri Macharia, for working tirelessly during this period, and wish also to extend this thank you to all the NEC Council members and NEC staff, because they know how we have been working, especially over the last 3 days, where we did not have comfort of resting at night. Thanks to the well-coordinated education sector, the 2020 candidates whose results we are releasing today can now join TVET institutions, TTCs, medical training institutions, and universities at exactly the same time they have done, the effects of COVID-19 notwithstanding. This way, we have managed to release the candidates to higher institutions of learning on time. I assure all the Kcse candidates who will receive their results today that they all have a better future, one full of hope and shorn of despair. All candidates have a place in our education story. I want to repeat that all candidates have a place in our education story. Our government has ensured that every child in our country has a place to pursue a career. and everyone deserves a chance, and that chance shall be given. We believe that there is no insignificant child, and that no insignificant child has been born in our country, and we must not leave any learner behind. The government has a duty to nurture each of these learners to pursue their dreams, regardless of how low they start to the very top of the academic ladder. Ladies and gentlemen, we believe in this dream, which indeed is what our competency-based curriculum is all about. I am therefore proud to announce that we have created opportunities for academic progression for all the 747,171 who sat the 2020 Kcse examinations. Already the Kenya Universities and Colleges Placement Service Groups, whose CEO, Dr. Agnes Wahome, is here today. I think you should stand so that they see you properly. Okahaha. Let them see you. This is a new boss for the universities, replacing Thank you. That is Dr. Wahome, brand new, has identified that our universities and colleges and TVET institutions have places for all candidates. All these institutions have disclosed their capacities of enrollment ahead of selection exercise of 2020 Kcse examination candidates, which I have instructed that should start immediately. That instruction is on behalf of none other than His Excellency the President. The placement service is engaging with the higher education regulatory bodies, Commission for University Education, the Technical and Vocational Education and Training Authority, TVETA, to ensure that all institutions are prepared to enroll these candidates. This is in line with the Ministry of Education's goal of providing fair and balanced access to quality and relevant higher education and training, and His Excellency the President's policy of 100% transition. I have directed the Kcse to ensure proper public mobilization and communication to campaigns are put in place to ensure that all interested candidates apply to colleges and TVET institutions of their choice. As you are aware, the government of the Republic of Kenya will pay for these children, and they will also be available to get help loans. I therefore wish to declare that all candidates who have sat these 2020 examinations have the ability to progress to other levels under the government's plan of zero wastage, 100%. This explains why the government of His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta has spent enormous resources to expand the TVET sector. Let me also re-emphasize that the government has been paying for our children in private universities the same amount that they pay to public universities. And because we want every child to have access, this is going to continue. For instance, the number of TTIs in each constituency has grown from 52 in 2013 to 233 in 2021. Out of the 233 TTIs, 52 are fully operational, 140 have been built, equipped, staffed, and operationalized, 4 of them catering specifically for children with disabilities, and 41 are undergoing construction, and I hope that by the grace and mercy of God, Mwakima, you are here, this is one of the things that you must finish so that they are operationalized this year. In bid to make up for the time that was lost during the prolonged closure last year, we deliberately created a tight academic calendar that enables us to accelerate completion of school terms. Schools that have opened for 2020 third term today are expected to close on the 10th of July and proceed on a week-long holiday, and then, and only then, shall we start a new year. That new year, ladies and gentlemen, entails the rollout of CBC Grade 5. And for the avoidance of doubt, we shall all roll out Grade 5 together, whether you are in private school or public school. Like I said the other time, there's only one government. Upshot of this accelerated calendar, will be that we'll have 5 examinations this year. The 2021 KCPE and Kcse will be held in March 2022. So the members of the media should stop labeling the examination we are releasing as 2021. That examination is being set now. The one that is being released is 2020. So even as you go ahead and discuss this, it is for the year which has not ended, which is 2020, which will end in July. In December 2022, we will administer another examination. Hopefully I will not be there, but we shall have planned for everything, so that whoever is going to take over from us should have a seamless effort. We had tried to avoid this, but I think since it is one country, and we must remember that the world is a stage, and when you are given a job, you don't get attached to it. You just do what you have to do and ensure that when you leave, whoever takes over can proceed on from there. That is the year that in December next year, that will be the year that we shall do the first grade 6 summative examination. As we are aware, His Excellency the President has sworn in a permanent secretary specifically to midwife the competency-based curriculum changes, the CBC, which basically means that this will be done without any problem. We are therefore about to come face to face with the historic examination system next year, which means that we must start preparing for the 5 examinations. I therefore wish to urge all our stakeholders, and especially those in the unions, to very kindly work with us as they have done so in the past, and the multi-agency team on the examination to tighten their belts and to prepare to confront the 5 impending examinations. Yet, I know dressing up such challenges is the team's stock in trade, and therefore it shall be done. The government, through the Ministry of Education, has opened the door to applications for the government's 9,000 odd scholarships under the Elimu Scholarship Program. This program started in 2019 and was originally meant for 110 sub-counties. But again, through the wisdom of His Excellency the President, we expanded it to children in urban slums and informal settlements. And I have since then learned that the greatest number of poor children in this country reside in those areas. The application is ongoing. I would like to encourage everybody who feels it should be considered to apply. We are being assisted here by Dr. James Mwangi, who has a track-proven record of administering such scholarships. The value is 2.5 billion for another 9,000, and we are hoping that 30% of this will go to urban slum children and children in informal settlements. During the 2020 Kcse examinations, 747,161 candidates sat for the examination compared to 697,222 of the previous year. This represented an increase of 6.6%, equivalent to 49,939 candidates. Of the 7,167 candidates who sat for the 2020 examinations, 380,327 were male, while 366,834 were female, representing 50.90 and 49.10. That is gender parity as far as I am concerned, and we wish to thank the government of His Excellency President Kenyatta for achieving gender parity, because we have had continuously more and more girls coming to sit for examinations. As a matter of fact, in 15 counties, more females enrolled than males. And the 15 counties are Taita Taveta, Kwale, Nyandarua, Nyeri, Kirinyaga, Murang'a, Kiambu, Machakos, Kitui, Nandi, Meru, Elgeyo Marakwet, Kakamega, Vihiga, and Kisumu. The counties with a high gender disparity in favor of the male include Mandera, Wajir, Garissa, Turkana, and Homa Bay. When I looked at these figures very closely, except for Homa Bay, there was almost 1-to-2 disparity. And therefore, I'm going to instruct the field officers in these counties to find out what is happening to the girls there. Are they marrying them too early and covering up under culture? And if that is so, we must bust it and make sure the girls go to school. Marriage can wait at least for another 4 years. I have also asked the Director of Quality Assurance, Dr. Stand so that they see, because people keep asking quality assurance. This is the Director of Quality Assurance. And she has capacity of sleeping inside a marking center for 48 hours. What nonsense are you looking for? Please sit down. Quality assurance standards to investigate the cause of low female candidates. You know, some people want bodies who cannot do the work. I identified Dr. Gaturu from the field. Nobody introduced me to her. And I was not even a minister then. I was just an ordinary chair of NEC. Turkana County had the highest number of overage candidates, while Bungoma County had the highest number of underage candidates. The underage candidates are the ones who are 16 and below. But excuse me, please, they have performed very well, so don't touch them. Subject performance in 20, don't hold a child back because the child is underage. You will see that they deserve, I'm going to show you soon. In the 2020 Kcse examination, 19 subjects recorded significant improvement in performance compared to 16 subjects of 2019. There was no significant change in 2 subjects. There were 893 A-planes. There were 893 candidates who scored A-planes, which is 0.1%, as compared to 627, which compared to 0.09, 2019. This is one of the clearest indicators, ladies and gentlemen, that the candidates have performed at par, if not better, compared to 2019, despite the negative effects of COVID-19. Ladies and gentlemen, the number of candidates with minimum university entry qualification, which is grade C+ and above, rose to 143,140, representing 19.03%, compared to 125,747, representing 18% in 2019. The message here is this: all the remaining candidates are eligible to join TVET institutions, teacher training centers, medical training colleges, and other tertiary learning institutions at various levels, from artisan to degree level. There's a table which will show you the distribution, and I don't have to go through them because you will see them. Our candidates with special needs, there were 223 candidates with special needs have obtained C+ and above. And I think I should take time, because since they are special needs, let me just take time to this is an improvement as compared to the 127 of last year, which was 7.6%. The most improved candidates, and the message we want to give here, there's this myth which is totally misplaced. Like right now, I have over 5,000 requests. They all want to go to 3 schools, 3 male and 3 female. And I look at it and I just laugh. Yet, there are students who have scored below 200, and they are going to university from sub-county schools. And I think you will allow me to show you how the so-called children who are flopped have passed well enough to join universities from universities or TVET, because now even a student with A can choose to go and do a TVET course where he is sure he'll get a job tomorrow. And I want to start with one who is from a sub-county school. The name is Cheriot Bet Dennis, Kimargis Secondary School. The sub-county school is somewhere in the country. He has moved from 190 to a B minus, so he's assured comfortably of a university space. The next one is Maluti Tom Miti from ordinary 199, and he's got a B minus also from St. Teresa's Secondary School in Bikeke, the sub-county school. The fourth one is Kipis Soimit Charity from 150, actually 151 in primary school, to C+ from a sub-county school. The fourth one is Sadera Sempeyo Shalvin from Old Kcse Secondary School, 168 to a B minus. The other hero or heroine is Kamar Abdullahi Jamale, 163 from Habaswein Mixed Secondary School, so Habaswein Mixed Day Secondary School. It's a sub-county school. The other sub-county school is Sololo Pamari Joseph, Old Kcse Secondary School, is a sub-county. Then there are one or two extra-county schools where we have Hassan Abdullahi Osman, Wayam Secondary School is an extra-county school. And the message here, ladies and gentlemen, is very clear. This, I don't know whether to call it madness or lack of knowledge, that you must go to the Panganis and Kenya high schools of this world. It is our duty as government to ensure that we nurture